Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a phobia client. This particular phobia client had a fear of birds, and had made a lot of progress in just a couple of sessions, to the point that the same triggers that were causing high levels of anxiety had got to a level where she could feel confident thinking about birds in a first-person perspective. So typically what is a stepping stone to breaking a phobia pattern is to imagine seeing yourself as a third person, as someone else being resourceful in the situation that used to cause anxiety. That's quite helpful because it starts creating a blueprint of what the posture would be like, the facial expressions, and it creates this idea that it is a possible reality. But of course, in real life, you're not going to see the trigger by looking at yourself as if you're someone else, because you're always going to be in the first person in reality, in real life. So the purpose of the session that I did with the client and this hypnosis that was at the end of this session was to get them feeling resourceful and confident and calm in a first person perspective around birds, but equally to do this in levels. So a lot of people are familiar with this idea of desensitization, of incremental experience, kind of like immersive desensitization with the stimulus. That's useful if you're in a resourceful state. So we'd already created the pattern interrupt to break the old pattern, introduce resourceful states into the current pattern. But then the purpose of this hypnosis was effectively priming to get them into a particular state of mind so they were willing to do it in reality. True phobia work is not true phobia work unless you get the client to do the thing they didn't think they could do. Because that's the real convincer strategy that keeps the phobia gone for good. You need real life experience. This hypnosis session is designed to help prepare them to take that final step. If you have a phobia, this might be useful, whether you have a fear of birds or not, because the concept of this is to feel resourceful in a first person perspective. But equally, my best work is always not the recordings, but the one-to-one interaction with the client. So if you do have a phobia and you don't want it anymore, there are so many different tools and techniques to break a phobia, to eliminate that pattern. Click the link in the show notes. You can have a free 30-minute consultation call with me to explore what working with me would be like. But you also might find that this session may be useful, particularly if you have a fear of birds or fear of animals of some kind. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and on the outward breath, just allow your eyelids to relax. With your eyes closed, just focus on the sound of my voice. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, and just exhaling any feelings of worry, tension, or stress. I want you to almost feel like you're scanning your body to figure out where feelings of tension tend to reside in you. For many people, it's the muscles in the forehead, in the jaw, the neck or the shoulders. Sometimes it can be a muscle in the arm or the leg that's tense, and it doesn't need to be tense. So as you breathe in and breathe out, just give permission to yourself to release that tension, to let go. That's right. And I want you to think of an area of your life where you feel completely confident and calm around an animal. Doesn't matter what the animal is, it's just an animal that you tend to like, perhaps an animal that you enjoy the company of. Doesn't matter if they move a lot, doesn't matter if there's many of them. But I want you to think of an animal like that you feel completely calm and relaxed around. And then just imagine that you're stepping into that version of yourself surrounded by those animals, and you're breathing slowly from your diaphragm. There's no tension in your neck or your shoulders. You breathe at a slow, even pace. And perhaps your inner dialogue is about the positive attributes of this animal. Aren't they cute? So fluffy. Whatever it might be for you. And notice that when you're breathing a certain way, with an absence of tension, and your inner dialogue is a particular tone of voice at a nice slow pace, notice that it's effortless to feel relaxed and resourceful around this animal. And I want you to hold on to that feeling. And I want you to imagine that somewhere in this room is a VR headset. And this VR headset enables you to experience an animal that perhaps in the past has caused you emotions that are undesirable. This VR headset is designed to help you desensitize old emotions and create new emotions to make you feel more resourceful. But this VR headset is the world's most realistic VR headset, indistinguishable from reality. I want you to imagine putting this VR headset on. And perhaps the name of this title is Bird Confidence. Imagine you can set it to level 1, easy level. And I want you to imagine that you're walking in an environment that you're familiar with, and that you can see birds at a reasonable distance, and you can feel calm and confident even though you know they're there. Become aware of your inner dialogue. Maybe your inner dialogue is evaluating that not only are they no threat to you, but you can handle them. You don't mind them. Maybe you're even saying things about how you used to feel. I used to feel anxious, but not anymore. They don't bother me at all. Or maybe it's positive statements like, I'm confident. I can manage this. This is easy. And I want you to interact in this VR environment around these birds set to easy level. And I want you to do things in this VR reality world that would convince you that you no longer fear birds. Maybe it's choosing to walk towards them. Maybe it's choosing to go to a place where you know there's more of them, or maybe eating food in close proximity, doing something that gives you a sense that you can feel fine even if they are in close proximity. And once you've done something in this easy level that gives you confidence and a conviction that you can be calm, confident, and resourceful around birds, let me know by nodding your head. And then on the screen it says, congratulations, you've graduated to level 2. And maybe you're in the same environment, or maybe a new environment, but perhaps there's more birds. maybe bigger birds. Maybe there's more of them or they're in closer proximity, but I want this to feel more challenging yet still feel that you can manage. It looks as realistic as reality, but notice that you can breathe nice and slow. You can release any tension in your neck or your shoulders. Your inner dialogue is cool, calm, confident. Something interesting is happening at this level too, where actually you're getting a sense of pride and accomplishment that you can do something that in the past you thought you couldn't do. One of the most satisfying things is to face a fear. To do that thing you thought you couldn't do is life-changing because it creates a seed of an idea that if I can do this thing I thought I couldn't do, what else is possible for me? Fear could be a barrier, but fear can also be an illusion. And if you're doing something you used to be afraid to do, isn't it natural that your mind starts thinking, what other limitations in my life aren't real? What other things am I capable of doing that I thought I couldn't do? And that's giving you a sense of excitement, a sense of possibility. And I want you to interact with this level and realize that you're doing even more things that give you an absolute new belief system that you can be totally fine around birds. No matter what the birds are. Pigeons. You can even introduce other animals, other varieties of birds. Maybe there's a peacock or a swan or a chicken or something else in this environment and you still feel fine. And when you feel calm and confident with a new conviction that you can handle a situation like this in real life, just let me know by nodding your head. And then on the screen it says, congratulations, you've graduated to the final stage. And this stage are things that are unlikely to happen in real life. It's simply designed to build resilience, build a conviction that you can handle anything. You can imagine species of birds that don't even exist. Pigeons that are 3 or 4 or 5 times bigger than a normal pigeon. Allow your imagination to attempt to try and find your limitation of anxiety, knowing that your courage and confidence will rise to meet whatever the challenge is. The more birds that there are, the more calm and confident you become. The more that this game attempts to scare you with birds, all it's doing is building more and more resilience and more of a conviction that you can handle whatever birds you find in reality. Allow the creative part of your mind to experiment with what could be perceived as worst case scenarios, and yet you feel fine. You can handle it. And you can't help but think that if you can handle these extreme virtual reality representations of birds, then more likely probable birds in real life are a walk in the park, literally. I want you to get a sense that a feeling of liberation, a feeling of relief, a feeling that something that has caused problems in the past is no longer part of your future. And I want you to imagine all the things that you can now do that previously you thought you couldn't do, and experience them. The places you thought you couldn't go. I want you to get a sense that maybe there's cities in the world that you thought you would never be able to see the sights of because of all the birds there, and imagine being in that location. That the world is suddenly now a bigger, more inviting, more exciting place. And if you feel that there is a new belief system now, a belief system that birds are no longer the cause of anxiety, and that all along they never were. That it was your evaluations, echoes of early childhood experiences that rippled throughout your life that temporarily became a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that self-fulfilling prophecy is now in reverse. You have a belief system that you're fine around birds, and therefore that will enable you to be more resourceful around birds. And because you're going to be more resourceful around birds, that's going to give you more and more evidence that you're totally fine around birds. And those memories become references for new beliefs that you can handle any situation where birds are. And therefore, how can anxiety exist if the foundations that it's built on are no longer there? And if your unconscious mind is ready to accept that this fear of birds is simply a chapter in the book of your life that's your past, and actually it's helped you because now it gives you undeniable evidence that all fears are subjective, and that you have unlocked feelings of confidence, courage, and feelings of resourcefulness that mean that you can move forward in your life to make your life even more desirable than your past. Let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine just taking that VR headset back off, getting a sense that you're connected to all these wonderful feelings of resourcefulness like confidence and courage. And there is only one level left of this challenge: to go out and to do it in reality. Because the final level is to always really do the thing you thought you couldn't do. That is the nail in the coffin of any phobia. Because when you do that thing, you then have a new belief that you can handle it. And the house of cards of any phobia or anxiety falls down and can never be rebuilt. And if you're ready and feel calm and confident in your ability to do what you've done in your mind in reality, let me know by nodding your head. Take that feeling of resourcefulness to the present. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that all parts returning to the present as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.